So it's that time of the year when anticipation in the world of football is at an all-time high. Why? Because it's time for the FIFA awards crowning the best players in their respective categories. And of course, a lot of focus has gone into the 3 players nominated for the Men's Player of the Year. And what a star-studded nomination, what a star-studded set it is really. Because you have 3 players, all of whom you could close your eyes and say, yeah, you know what? I can totally see him winning it. That's just how good it is this year. You have Lionel Messi, you have Kylian Mbappe, and you have Karim Benzema all vying for this award. Now, in this video, what we're going to do is actually go over, the case all of them have, whether or not they actually can be winning this trophy. And in the end, we'll be picking our favorites for the trophy. And I don't think I should give you too many spoilers, but let's just get down to it one by one. First off, and I have to start with him, Ballon d'Or winner, Karim Benzema. Okay. Ballon d'Or winner. I mean, come on. How often does it happen, though, that a Ballon d'Or winner is not the favorite?
Interestingly, on this list, there are 2 Ballon d'Or winners and a third player
who is seen as a future Ballon d'Or winner.
A successive Ballon d'Or winner, you can call it.
But Benzema, despite being the Ballon d'Or winner for this just 2022, doesn't actually start the favorite. Yeah. That's the funny thing. And it's not really down to him. But I think, unfortunately, what happened was that injury with which he missed the World Cup.
Yes, that plays a big role. Again, I think the thing with this year's nomination list is you look at the top 10, you look at the top 3 also. It all boils down to how they performed at the World Cup, and that's always the case in a World Cup here.
This year especially so because the World Cup ended the year.
Exactly. All the more reason that the memories are fresh. Otherwise, you're talking about how players are performing in the league, how they're performing in Europe. None of those things right now because the overwhelming sentiment is, of course,
of the World
Cup. So, Karim Benzema, of course, no surprise over there, I would say. Absolutely no surprise to see Karim Benzema on that list. Also in the top 3. I think he totally merits a place in the top 3.
Sure.
He's been in that kind of form. We saw glimpses of that midweek as well with that, left-footed goal that he scored against Liverpool.
Oh, yeah.
So he continues to be, even though he's announced his international retirement, let's not forget that. But you sort of saw that coming in his case because of...
he just has that volatile relationship with the French team.
With the French team, exactly. It never really kicked off the way he would have wanted it to. Ended up missing the World Cup as well because of injury. Or you could say he wasn't picked. There's
a lot of conflicting stories on that.
Yes. There was an Insta story which was taken down and whatnot. An invitation from a high-profile political entity.
Not just high-profile, the Prime Minister of the nation.
So all things happening in his case. But that's been Karim Benzema and the way, his football career has been. But a strong case, I would say. If you were to, let's say, take out the World Cup from the equation, and by that you also mean forgetting what this man did at the World Cup, then things could have been extremely different, I would say.
Yeah.
But still, it's good to see him over here.
I'll just put it this way. If it wasn't for the FIFA World Cup, I think Benzema would have been my pick to win the World Player of the Year as well. Because 2022 really was his year. It was when he not just started surviving in a Real Madrid without Ronaldo, without Bale, but he was thriving. He became the main man. Remember, they had so many comeback wins in the Champions League.
Yes.
All were down to him.
All were down to
Benzema.
He was the fulcrum in many ways last year as well in that Champions League success.
In the league success, he was scoring, don't forget. Yes. So I think if it were not for the World Cup, he would be my favorite. And in fact, maybe, if he played the World Cup, maybe France could have actually been the first 2-time winners. Very possible. In a while, since 60 years. No, not Italy. 58-62, Brazil. That's the only team who've done it besides Italy, who did it in 34 and 38. But actually, if you're looking at the kind of year he had, man, no surprise to say him that beast for Real Madrid, did well for France in the limited chances he got. Unfortunately, missed out on the World Cup, and that's why we're saying he's not actually the favorite. Because if you're looking at World Cup performances, then we have to come to his compatriot, Kylian Mbappe. What a World Cup!
World Cup, definitely the World Cup final also.
Yeah. I mean, that final was basically a straight shootout between him and Messi. Yes. Of course, the major problem for me with France was they let it get to Emi Martinez.
Yeah.
Once it got to Martinez, you always had that feeling that probably they're not winning it. If you got it, I still maintain, if they had pushed harder in extra time, maybe France would have lifted the trophy. Yeah. They waited for penalties. That was their big mistake. Yeah. But past is the past. Mbappe, though, he's not just been the main man for PSG. At a time when they have both Messi and Neymar, he also was the main man for France. He thrived. He was the man driving them forward, not just with his goals, but even with his, I wouldn't say assists, but definitely his demeanor, the runs he made, the way he would often occupy, opposition centre halves. It helped a lot.
And the way again, when you think about the World Cup now, whenever in the future as well, when you talk about the World Cup, of course we're talking about it because we still, fresh from that.
It's
World
2
Cup.
months odd.
Exactly. But the kind of show that the man put up, is phenomenal. I think he's got 15 goals already in the two editions of the World Cup that he's played. So of course he's going to be not just collecting many more trophies in the times to come. Who knows, but another World Cup as well.
Oh yeah.
And had, let's say, the tide were gone the other way around, had France won the World Cup, he did everything to not just, of course, get more than one trophy at the podium that night, but perhaps one more tonight as well.
Would have been taking the, World Cup trophy itself home, become the 3rd team ever to have done that. Successive World Cups is a rare thing in the world of football. They came very close to doing it, and they came very close solely because of Mbappe, because until he lit up the final come the 70-odd minute when he scored his first and second goals, France looked down and out. Yeah. They looked like they were done. Even Argentina was so confident that they switched off. But that's the thing with elite players, and Mbappe very much part of that bracket, that when they switched off, he found that moment to strike.
And since we were just reflecting upon what happened at the World Cup and that trophy moment, the whole celebration, those 4 awards that were being given to players.
Let's just not reference what Emi Martinez did.
Yes. But having said that, Kylian Mbappe cut a sorry figure.
He looked very dejected.
He looked dejected. He was distraught, and
you understand why?
Even though the award, it's a great award to have.
The Golden Boot.
Exactly, to have the highest, to score the maximum number of goals in the World Cup is something not everyone gets to do, and that trophy, puts him in an elite category of strikers. But it just tells you so much more about his attitude, about the winning habit, let's say, that he already has.
Absolutely.
And the fact that he always wants to take this forward as well. So that tells you about the strong mentality of this youngster. Still a youngster.
Still very much a youngster. 23 years old.
23?
23 years old. 23 years old. World Cup winner at 19 and World Cup runner-up at 23. He could retire right now and he'd still be a legend of this game.
Of course. So no surprises over there to see
him in
also in that place. But let's now talk about the man who
I think would be an overwhelming favorite this year.
Overwhelming favorite. And of course, it's got to do with the way the World Cup happened.
Yeah, because his first season form at PSG was nothing to write home. Yeah. Nothing to write home. Yeah, he got the assists.
Look, when they say things are aligned for you, look at the way. Of course, many saying, prior to the World Cup that this would be his last. He also, by the way,
has pretty much admitted that this will be his last.
Yes, but to have, had that fairy tale ending of sorts.
It's very rare.
Very, very rare. And then, when you see things aligning and falling in place, it's not just got to do with the World Cup. Of course, for a man like him to have the kind of season that he had at PSG last year was shocking in many ways. And you thought that probably, it's a lot of emotion riding on him right now because he never wanted to move away from Barcelona. But look at the man right now. Look at the numbers that he's...
700 club goals.
700 club goals. He's already had some 18 or assists, I think 15 odd goals. It's been again the perfect kind of year for him again.
It's been Messi. Just Messi doing Messi things.
Year. And again, when you look at those numbers, if you weren't going to tell somebody his age in an alternate world, just present these numbers, you'd say that this man is still in his prime. And again, the kind of World Cup that he had and the kind of season that he is having, I think makes him, like you said, the overwhelming favorite.
Yeah, because see, if you had to look at it, first half of 2022, Messi is nowhere in the picture. Nowhere. Then at that point, it's an undisputed favorite that Karim Benzema would be winning it. Because the kind of season he had for Real Madrid, it's just next level. Then Messi comes into his element at PSG. He starts getting those assists, starts getting those goals. And then perhaps the most important thing, the one tournament where the world is watching you. FIFA World Cup. He had the kind of FIFA World Cup which most players in their prime could not have. Goals, assists, single-handedly getting Argentina, 4 man of the match awards in the knockouts. At 30-something, at 35 that he is. 4 man of the match awards, scoring and assisting in all of those games. It's inhuman that at this age, he's still doing that.
It's mind-boggling that, that you say that the man's in the twilight of his career. Because he's still, again, those assists that he provided last night, by the way.
Yeah, phenomenal.
So those, and that's Messi for you. You know, he will bring you those moments of magic, those moments of brilliance.
And it doesn't just have to be with goals.
It's an absolute treat to watch him not just win these trophies year on year, but also to see him play again. I think we're with a lucky generation that way. You know,
we saw so many greatest of all time candidates.
So it's just delightful as football fans, people who love the game, to see things that he does, and perhaps. Of course, there is no shortage of trophies in his cabinet.
But he's still doing more.
Perhaps there's one more coming up, and a big one coming up tonight as well.
So I think for me, and you're talking about him influencing the game, it doesn't just have to come with assists. Because again, I'll draw your mind back to World Cup final. The second goal which they scored, Di Maria's goal, that was made entirely by one flick from Messi. That's it.
The way he opened his body.
Exactly. Opened his body, flicked it. And at that point, everything was going one side. He switched it to the other and France were left flat-footed. And at that point, see, it's not his assist. It's McAllister's assist. It's not his goal. It's Di Maria's goal.
But he opened the play.
But that entire play was made by just one flick. And that's the thing with genius. Again, I'll go back to the semi-final, Croatia. The match was still at a knife's edge, and then he goes and spins Guardiola like he's some amateur.
That was something.
Like some amateur defender. Guardiola, by the way, is one of the most highly rated defenders in Europe right now. He's expected that when he does leave RB Leipzig, he's going to go for massive money. But he just made him look amateur. And truth be told, no better player to do it. And you can at least bow your head down and say, fine, I was schooled by one of the best ever, no problem. But that is why these moments, and again, they still live on in our memories. We saw it, 2 odd months back? You could still quote it off the back of your mind that, oh, he did this. He had that goal against Mexico. He did this, he did that. He had those cool penalties. And that is why my overwhelming favorite. Can't be anyone else. I don't think it can be anyone else.
If you do disagree, you can let us know in the comments section. It's always good to hear from you.
I think this is a rare time that you have a debate where we're both on the exact same page.
Exactly.
There's no disagreement here. We can't, but hey, you guys can. Let us know in the comments though if you disagree. Don't forget to like this video, share, subscribe, tap the bell, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and also download the Sportslick app. And of course, tomorrow we'll be bringing you some reactions from this trophy event when it does happen. So stay tuned for that. For now though, from Harshit and me, bye-bye.